Humility or low self-esteem, the Bible perspective. Are you struggling to find the balance between confidence and humility? You're not alone. This video dives into the Bible's perspective on humility and how to cultivate it without succumbing to negative self-talk. It is commonplace in religious settings to confuse low self-esteem with humility. Humility in scriptural context is often synonymous to meekness and may be used interchangeably. Biblical humility conveys a sense of gentleness, selflessness, and a modest view of oneself or a lack of self-importance. In Matthew 11:29, Jesus says, "Learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart." And in chapter 21, verse 5, he demonstrated it, for it says, "Behold, your king comes to you, meek and sitting upon an ass." Apostle Paul clarifies this notion of lowly in heart when he said in Romans 12:3, that everyone should not think of himself more highly than he ought to. While true humility is an outward manifestation of the renewal of the mind and a new birth experience in Jesus Christ, a false sense of humility can be seen in persons who act in certain ways because they see themselves as less worthy than the next individual. In Matthew 15:27, the Syrophoenician woman's response that, "Yet the dogs eat of the children's crumbs which fall from their master's table," is no doubt spoken in great faith, but it stemmed from the standpoint of a low self-esteem, and not from true humility. To know your authoritative and kingly position in Christ Jesus, but yet allow yourself to be subject to less honorable treatment from others for the sake of your faith in Christ is meekness, while certainly not compromising your God-driven principles. In Numbers 12:3, Moses is described by God as the meekest man on the face of the earth. In spite of his privileged position of leading the children of Israel out of Egypt, and as the only one who talks to God face to face, he did not retaliate when his siblings Aaron and Miriam spoke against him. Also in John 13:3-5, it says, "Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, laid aside his garments, and took a towel, and girded himself, and began to wash the disciples' feet." These are examples of true humility emanating from the standpoint of power and authority. On the other hand, to allow yourself to undergo such treatment because you are less privileged than others is not humility. The same goes if the motives for that inaction include fear of being regarded as arrogant, or losing certain privileges or approvals from others in the church, or as a strategy for others to consider one as being humble. In 1 Samuel 9,